If you're one of those that says we never wash dirty vehicles and we're always inside a comfy studio, well, this is the video for you.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. Today we have a vehicle with so much mud that we can't do it inside. We washed one half in another video. There'll be a link down below just to test a few things out. And we actually blocked our drain. There was so much mud. So we're doing it outside. It's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. So whatever we leave behind on the sidewalk will get washed away.
Let's say you have really trash paint, full of mud, full of nastiness, Ivan. You have a few tips and tricks to facilitate the process to make sure we get all this off safely.
Right. First thing is, do not use a pressure washer on this to get it off.
Wait, wouldn't it look super satisfying to just hit a pressure washer on straight mud?
Yeah, very satisfying, very dangerous for the paint. We don't want to damage any paint. This truck already has enough damage on it. We don't want to cause more. Now, the first thing we're going to do is actually use a garden hose on a mist setting. We just want to dampen the mud a little bit. So we have,
even though we teach a foam rinse foam method, you are introducing water first.
just a little bit. Literally, not much.
Okay, so there's no PSI driving these
No,
dirt boulders with jagged edges into the paint.
no, I'm just moistening the surface.
Where'd you come up with this trick, Ivan?
Years of experience.
There's a lot of caked on mud, like right here.
Yeah,
Okay, so we want to, okay, I got you.
so we're not trying to get it off using the garden hose. We're just trying to dampen it. And that dampness will assist in the next step. Yeah, there's chunks.
There's stuff everywhere. You know what, also, I see this message. I think it might be, is this real? Do I see this?
Yes, it's subliminally,
Okay, so
we're asking you to subscribe.
please subscribe. We'd appreciate it. All right, so you're missing everywhere. I can kind of smell the mud in the air. I mean, it's...
Yeah, it's sort of reviving the mud. Now from there, Nick, you can take...
I think I'd like to add a little mist. Not C6 Ceramics mist, although that is a phenomenal drying aid. I think this could use... I think we really could get this muddy because it's very chunky. I mean,
Yeah.
there's sticks embedded into this, so I'm just really trying to facilitate some of this mud. Also, I want to have fun too, Ivan.
Speaking of having fun, next step is the IK Foamer 15:1 dilution of all clean with just a little bit of incredible suds for additional dwell time.
Yeah, I mean, all clean is a phenomenal way to start breaking a lot of this down.
Yeah.
What's the difference between foaming this on or spraying it as it comes ready to use in our 16-ounce bottles, Ivan?
Foaming gives you a little more interaction with the product. So every time one of these bubble bursts, you get more action from it. You get another contact point. When we just spray it on, we only get one contact point. And yeah, that's pretty thick there.
If I ever hear someone say they've tried all clean and they didn't think much of it, I always ask, did you spray it on or did you foam it on? Same amount of product, same dilution, but it's really a game changer. If you can get yourself one of these IK foamers, we're not sponsored by IK, we don't even sell these, but get some kind of foaming action. Now, not a foam cannon, but an actual foamer, and you can kind of see what's happening. So
Yeah.
all clean. It's not the product's fault. The spray is not the same effect as the foam. Everyone who foams it that I've talked to has really loved this. You'd think that every all-purpose cleaner out there was created equal. That's unfortunately not the case.
We're going to allow the all clean to dwell as long as possible before the next step. And we're not going to rinse this off. we're going to be adding more foam on top. That is Nick's job.
Well, fortunately, it's a cloudy day. It's actually a perfect day to do this outside.
Yeah.
We can leverage the dwell time. We're not worried about anything drying on the paint. And look at it just pulling all of this off. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't want to do too much. I want to allow the chemicals to dwell and do what they're meant to do. It's time to give the folks on this busy Omaha road a show.
A foam show.
A foam show. There we go. Did you do it with the Incredible Suds, Ivan?
No, not me.
Might have been me. Mwahaha! Ivan, last time I checked, detailing was supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Don't tell me not to foam. Okay.
Well, I think you've foamed enough, Nick, for this moment. Now, we're gonna let this dwell, we're gonna let it draw that dirt down, and we can see just how much is being drawn down. I'm gonna go back to the garden hose for the fender liners. And the reason I'm using the garden hose is more water is better in this case than pressure, because it's gonna break down that mud a little faster. So instead of using pressure, I'm gonna use a lot of water.
In the meantime, I'm gonna go fill up our foam cannon again.
I think you need to, yeah. Now, this vehicle came to us from a friend of the channel that lives here in Omaha, and he actually uses this in the way it's intended, meaning off-road. That's why it looks like this. This isn't a fake, don't worry. And we'd like to really thank him for keeping his truck a little dirtier for us in order to do this video.
The rinse meister himself.
We're gonna be rinsing this from the top down. So if I can get you to move the foam can in there, sir.
Yep.
At this point, many people would be going in for the contact wash, but no, we're foaming again.
Again?
Yeah, foam rinse, foam rinse. The reason we're doing that, if we actually let this air dry, you'd see that there's still a bit of mud on the surface there. So Nick, you filled up your foam cannon. Have at it.
We're not
have
going to
fun.
talk about how I diluted it either.
No, okay.
Top to bottom, why not?
I suspect there's more than 1 ounce of incredible suds in the foam cannon. Just a guess.
You think? Ivan, why don't you stand right there for a second?
No, that'll be fine. Fill the wheel wells up with foam.
I'm not going to say I regretted adding all that foam.
No. And this way, when we rinse it off, it'll be a lot cleaner for the next steps. Now, once we rinse this off, we'll bring it back in the garage to do our final contact wash. We'll add maybe a little bit of rinseless there and do our contact wash. But for now, we've got all that mud off without contact, without potentially scratching the paint.
Yeah, I mean, these big clumps of foam dropping the mud down the paint, I feel like they're giving it a little bit of a bed or a slide.
Right.
To sort of safely coast off of versus rubbing it into the paint.
Right. Those that use a pressure washer, I know it's satisfying to look at, but it's not satisfying for the paint.
No.
So we'll let it dwell a few more seconds and then rinse away.
Well, that was a very thorough process, Ivan.
It was, and it needed to be. You know, yes, the vehicle had a lot of mud on it. It maybe took us an extra 15 minutes over what we normally would do, but it was worth it for the safety of the vehicle.
We take care of vehicle safety around here.
We sure do. Now, we'll reset, put this in the studio. We'll be right back in a second. In the meantime, subscribe, hit the notification bell, maybe even give us a thumbs up.
Ivan, we brought it inside now. It's a long process, or at least the process isn't done yet.
Right. We still have to do the contact wash. Now, we actually did this yesterday. We were filming different videos, and this was an interlude between another video. But we got the primary and the big amount of mud off, and we let it air dry just to show you what happens. So people think that they rinse, they foam, they rinse, and they can go at it with a contact wash and it's fine. Without the contact wash, this is what it looks like. It still looks a little dirty, and it still has residue on the surface that you need a bit of pressure to wipe off.
Ivan's talking about looks, I'm going to talk about sound for a second. It's a cold day in Omaha now.
Yeah.
Rain is pittering and pattering on the roof. The furnace is going on and off, so thank you for your patience. We're working in those confines.
Yeah.
We're here to educate. Continue
Exactly.
on.
It's an old building. We have to live with it. Now, we need to do the contact wash. We need to decontaminate it. We need to get it ready for polishing. That's what we're going to do here. And rinseless wash is our friend.
So are we going to pre-treat this paint?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's foam rinse, foam.
Yeah.
Rinse.
And now we're,
left.
yeah. So we're doing this because it had an inordinate amount of mud on it.
That's a fancy word, Ivan.
It had a lot.
So 4 capfuls to 4 gallons of water.
Yeah.
Rinseless wash concentrate.
Exactly.
4 milliliters per liter. 1 ounce per 2 gallons of water. 1 capful per gallon. The dilutions are simple. The possibilities are endless.
Right. In our keg, we have rinseless wash ready to go, pressurized. So let's pre-soak.
So Ivan's going to town with that sprayer, the keg sprayer. You could also grab something like this, or even just a 16-ounce bottle. And the easiest way to dilute it is not to try to figure that out. Just get your gallon and then dunk it in there. And by the time I get this sprayer all set up, Ivan's probably gonna be done, but never hurts to have a little sprayer Renzo sitting around. Especially if you're in direct sunlight and it dries on the surface. That can be a problem. I know Ivan's done, but I can't be left out of the fun.
Yeah.
So let me just redo some of the job you did, Ivan. There we go. I feel better about my life. I've contributed.
Next up, contact wash. We have the Legacy sponge all ready to go. The beauty of the Legacy sponge combined with the rinseless wash is its ability to clean itself. So we know there's still a lot on this door. I'll take the red side here. We'll go along this door and you'll see that it's going to be picking up a lot of the dirt that's on the door. The sponge not looking so clean. Literally just a touch to the bucket, lift it up, we have a clean sponge again. On this door, found something that we had never seen before on this vehicle because it was hidden in dirt. Got road paint on there. So we'll show you a really fun way of removing road paint as we go along here today.
How's it going, Ivan?
Great, almost done.
I can hear the contamination under my Legacy sponge.
Yes,
I feel like
there's a bit of it there.
there's a lot of work to do, but it's one bite at a time to eat the elephant, right, Ivan?
Yep. And we're doing a full transformation on this. When we're done, it will be polished, coated, looking beautiful. But one step at a time. These lights and the grill, we'll be using our wheel and body brush to get in everywhere.
Ivan, the wheels are rusted here, but we gotta get these tires as clean as we can.
100%, yeah.
All clean, 15 to 1, with just a cap full of incredible suds in there for a little extra dwell time. Ivan, a lot of folks are tempted to clean tires until the browning is completely gone.
Yes, and if you speak to a tire engineer, that's not the way to do it. It's actually damaging the tires to do that. We just want to clean them. What browning is left will be taken care of with the tire dressing when we're done. Removing too much browning actually is removing a vital part of the tire.
Why should they listen to you versus clean it until the browning is gone, which a lot of detailers on the internet seem to suggest is the way to clean?
It's your choice. But if you want your tires to last longer and be happy tires, don't over clean them. Next up, perforated synthetic decontamination towel with iron remover for additional lubrication and get rid of these iron deposits on the paint. One spray on the towel, one on the panel, match them up, and away we go. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of grit on here.
I felt it under my towel. I knew it, or sponge. Yeah. I knew we were in for something.
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear it. It's definitely there.
When you first developed the perforated clay towel years ago, Ivan, what was the reaction in the industry? What are some of the biggest questions you get about it?
Why? And that why is to provide a safe method of decontaminating without having to polish afterwards. You know, the previous iterations of clay and clay towels, you were scratching the paint. This is a synthetic surface that does not contain any abrasives. No clay, and it's already smooth here.
Yeah, the transition from rough to smooth was actually quite rapid, which has been awesome.
Yeah, we don't hear anything, we don't feel anything.
It doesn't always happen that quickly, but
no.
To get here is very satisfying as we're discussing whether the towel works and why you designed it this way. It's very rewarding to feel no pressure, but a few extra passes instead, because a lot of the temptation is to just provide pressure to get results in detailing, whether you're polishing or claying. That's not the way we teach it.
No.
Pressure is actually your enemy. You just want to let the technology work for you.
Yeah.
Err on the side of a couple extra passes versus a couple extra pounds of pressure, and patience is your friend.
Right, and if you're doing a section and it's really, really gritty, nothing's coming off, let the iron remover sit there for a few minutes, come back to it a little later. That dwell time will be your friend.
And we still have rinseless wash on the surface, which gives us a lot of lubrication to work with here.
Yeah. When using your perforated synthetic decontamination towel, you want to fold it in 4. Don't put it flat on the surface. Don't do it in 2. Do it in 4. The reason for the 4, fits your hand better. Also reduces pressure points, making it safer for you and the paint. 1 spray of iron remover on the towel, 1 on the paint, marry them up, and off you go. Always clay your windows. They get contaminated as well. Nick, if you could start on the roof on your side, and then we'll trade off the platform.
All right.
Now, I suspect when we dry this vehicle off, we will see a lot of scratching. This is a vehicle that goes off-road regularly. The mud that was on here was not staged. It was a normal part of life for this vehicle. Now, what I'm hearing down here, I pointed out before, that's the road paint, and no, the decontamination towel will not remove it. We have to go a little more in depth on that one. Once we're done the decontamination process, we'll get to that. Is there road paint on your side, Nick?
Yep.
Okay. So we got a 2-for-1 deal.
It's yellow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on the driver's side door. The driver door here.
When we're done here, I think we're gonna have to increase the sticker collection here. There's seems to be a DIY sticker missing.
I think that can happen.
The roof is contaminated as the hood was?
Not as bad, actually.
Oh, okay. Less dirt gets up onto the roof, so.
Yeah, it's pretty tall.
This vehicle will definitely fall in the extreme makeover category here. We're gonna be going from backwoods bruiser to boulevard cruiser.
Ooh. How poetic.
Even the roof has tree branch scratches. Now, it's a good thing we did the outside washing yesterday. Would have been a little wet out there today.
It's torrential rainpour out there, Ivan.
Yeah. Actually, might have made our washing a little easier just to let it sit out in the rain for a day, but
That's true.
we have a schedule to keep. Next step, the pressure washer to rinse away the iron remover. It's had long enough to dwell. We've had the mechanical agitation from the perforated synthetic decontamination towel, so we're ready to rinse away. Now, Nick, I'm impatient to see what this paint looks like. We haven't really seen the condition of the paint under all that mud and dirt, but we have one more decontamination step to do.
It's not over yet. I think it's going to be very scratched up. Under the leftover residue from what we done yesterday, I saw some hints.
Yeah, there are some scratches there, but we need to first get rid of the mineral deposits, and having all that mud on it means that it had a lot of mineral deposits on it. Mud has a tendency to do that. If you have leaves on your car, if you have mud, if you have salt from the winter, those are all things that can leach minerals onto your paint. And that's where water spot remover comes in. Give it a good mineral cleanse. And I'm putting a little more than I normally would, because we know this one is definitely in need. You can see the reaction. Here you got a nice big pool of water. And it starts breaking that water apart, meaning it's working actively on the minerals. Nick, a lot of people would be tempted to use their decontamination towel or their sponge to work in the water spot remover. That's not the tool of choice. We want to use a nice microfiber towel, dampened in the rinseless. We don't want it wet, we just want it damp. And we're only going to use one side of the towel. That's very important. We don't want to flip the towel. We know the surface is clean and decontaminated at this point. All we're doing is spreading and agitating the water spot remover just a little bit. Now, I was very generous on my application because I knew this one needed a lot of it, but we're still going to agitate, we're still going to work it in, giving you the best chance possible.
If you're in a rush, you could spray on and rinse off. You're not going to do as thorough a job. You're probably going to do an adequate job. But I think this towel just ensures you're doing it the right way. And that's what we're all about, is doing it the right way. There's times where I'm decontaminating my paint periodically, a coated vehicle maybe, not as much of a kind of transformation as this, obviously. And it may be just a maintenance wash, and I'll do the iron, I'll rinse, I'll water spot remover, I'll give it some dwell time, and then I'll rinse. And it does a pretty good job, but it's not getting every inch of the paint because inevitably one spray missed a section, Ivan. So
Right.
it's good to do it the right way. I'm just letting you know there's nuance to it.
Right, if you're just doing, like you said, a maintenance wash, you don't need to go crazy with it. But in this case, we're aiming for a major transformation. The agitation might take a few minutes, but has a lot of benefits. One being decidedly making sure that it's getting everywhere. That little bit of agitation helps as well to have the water spot remover do its job. Now, when we're done with the towel, we don't put it back in our wash bucket. We rinse it out, let it dry, then launder separately. Water spot remover is slightly acidic, so it can damage your legacy sponge or your perforated synthetic decontamination towel. Just rinse and let it sit by itself. Time for the final rinse. I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. Even though these wheels are a little rusted up, we're still going to protect them with quick beads, just make easier maintenance in the future. Couple sprays there, couple sprays on the back one. And rinse to nice beading. Make them easier to maintain, easier to dry, and make the customer happier. Nick's almost done the squeegeeing, and now's that time to actually reveal what's under all this beading and what was under mud previously.
I like to prime my towel on the windows first, just because I feel like the drying blanket works a little bit better once it's wet. So I'm gonna let you do a little magic over there. Get a little bit of moisture on my drying blanket before I do that epic hood shot, Ivan.
And yeah, we can see all the tree branch scratches here. It's been through the woods more than once, but that's fine.
Even on the hood?
Even on the hood, yeah, there's some nice Now, when you get closer to the center of the hood, it gets a little better, but close to the edges, see those tree branch scratches, especially on the side. Not a problem, we were expecting it. We knew what we were in for. We just didn't expect it to come with that much mud. We have this road paint to get off this vehicle, and there are a lot of different ways of doing it, and a lot of ways that people will say on the internet that this is the only way. One is lacquer thinner, and lacquer thinner can actually hurt the paint that's below it. We don't want to do that. Some people will try using a plastic razor blade. Plastic razor blade, no, not the way to do it. Now, there are different qualities in razor blades, and you'll notice the top one here has no writing on it on either side. The bottom one, in the brown paper wrapper here, says made in the USA. That really means something when it comes to razor blades. That is a gauge of quality, and also make sure that the edge is better sharpened. Now, we can't take this razor blade and just start scraping away. That's going to damage the paint. First thing we have to do, we'll put the made in USA side up, and using a piece of sandpaper, and the grit of sandpaper isn't important here. We want to round over the corners. So now you can see the corners are rounded over. From there, we want to take a bit of ceramic gloss and a window. And we're going to hone the blade. So I'm going to put the made in USA side up. From there, I'm going to put one finger under the blade. That finger acts as my pivot point or my fulcrum. Then I go along the window very lightly, no pressure, and I'm honing the edge of the blade. And that honing, if you've ever been to a good old school barber shop, I haven't been in a few years, but when they're prepping their razor, they do this on a leather strop. If you happen to have a leather strop at home, go ahead. But the window does a great job. Then from there, I'm going to apply some ceramic gloss to the surface, and at the same angle that I used on the glass, using the ceramic gloss as lubrication, I can effortlessly lift this road paint off the surface without doing any damage whatsoever.
How often do you need to clean the razor blade, Ivan, to make sure you're not driving more paint back into the paint?
With a razor blade like this, I'll be able to do both doors quite easily. Now, if you're decontaminating a whole surface, a vehicle that's had overspray on it or whatsoever, you may need to change razor blades every panel or so. And
you're even hitting the plastic, I see.
Yeah, even on the plastic trim. Road paint is actually very thick, so it doesn't grab into the paint that easily. It grabs onto it, but not into it. And using the ceramic gloss as lubrication allows me to get in here and get this off of the surface.
So just to recap, we round off the corners on sandpaper, then we work it with ceramic gloss on glass before we start.
Correct, yeah. That's preparing the blade. Once your blade is prepped, you can safely go onto the paint, no pressure, and remove all that's bothering you. It's important to maintain that same angle throughout the whole process. That's why I hone the blade with my finger underneath it, and my finger stays underneath it the whole time. The one thing you never want to do is go side to side with the blade. That is going to slice the paint. Then we take a towel, inspect our work. And yes, on the plastic, it's going to need a little more work. But on the paint, we have just one or two little spots remaining. No additional scratches and no road paint.
Ivan, so not exactly your typical wash and decon. Some extra steps, some extra lessons learned, Ivan.
Right. Now it's time to polish.
Hold your horses, big guy. All right, we're gonna take a lunch break.
Okay.
We're gonna split this into 2 videos. We are gonna promise you though, that if you wanna know what it was like to just try rinseless wash on this really muddy paint, or what it was like to just try Incredible Suds, we did a panel by panel comparison.
Exactly.
So that's the video I want you to take a look at now. Get ready, because very soon, the polishing and the true transformation is coming up as well.